Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Most importantly, if you'd like to join this discussion right now, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by the Plain Truth Physics Warrior, Tommy, Paul, Flatten Earth, Earth Truth, Chocolate Sane, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Hello, what ho?
Hello.
Hey, Nathan.
Good afternoon.
Good morning.
How's
Good morning,
everyone
good afternoon, hello. Welcome one and all. Any signs of curvature?
Nope.
No curvature.
Nah.
Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
No, Nathan.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity? Scientific evidence thereof?
No. Aberration.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
There is no
Not-
distance to the sun.
No.
Well, we did have Dion on the last show, and he's hinting.
Yeah, I
a
heard
couple of
that. It
weeks'
was
time.
a bit confusing, and I
Very.
can't say I agree with everything he said, but we're going to have to discuss this
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure
in the
it'll
wizard's back room.
fill us in the fullness
Should
of
be
time. We shall see. What about evidence
I
of a
think
gas pressure being maintained without a container?
Nah. That can't happen.
No. No way.
Any
No.
evidence of the molten iron core?
You mean the one at the
Anecdotal
center of the presupposed
evidence?
spherical Earth? No.
No, Nathan, I don't have any proof.
Last but not least, the presupposition of an Earth radius, the R value. Anybody?
Well, it exists in math.
Yes, I know there is an R value, Arwin. Is there any evidence of Earth having a spherical radius?
Presumably so.
We'll draw a conclusion to the housekeeping there. Thank you, gentlemen.
Way to go, Arwen.
So I mean, like, we got rudely interrupted by fucking Brenda or whatever it is that was
Try
chatting loads.
not to swear.
No
I
swearing.
don't mind in the after show.
I mean, I was just curious about your guys' views on the sun eliminating the clouds from underneath. And when you make this observation, because I think that observations are evidence, and we can use the bits of evidence to come to our conclusions, and make hypotheses and come up with theories and come up with what's the most likely outcome due to the observations that we make. And I'm just curious what you guys think about the clouds being illuminated from underneath if the sun is apparently above the clouds.
I don't know that it's anywhere.
So when you look in the sky,
Well,
you see the sun in the air. You don't know if the sun is in the air.
No, I think that's a step too far. We see the sun.
Yeah.
You don't know if it's in the air, if it's anywhere.
Well,
As
Are
far
the
as I'm
clouds in the
concerned,
air?
it is a side effect of the daylight coming from that direction that we perceive holographically like a sort of a disc of blinding light. But it's
So-
apparent.
So is the clouds above your head?
Well, it depends. If there's
So
a
you're not
cloud.
going to admit that the clouds are in the sky?
Right. Well, the clouds are localized objects.
Are the clouds in the sky?
The clouds that are
Okay.
above my head are the ones above my head.
Hey,
No,
Ali.
the
How you
clouds
doing?
Yeah,
are
and
the
you
only
you
clouds
can
are-
Hold on one second,
triangulate
guys.
it.
Sorry.
No, but you can
Sorry, hold on,
triangulate
Owen. Hold
those.
on. Hey, Ali. Can
Hey, Ellie.
you hear us?
Hey,
Good
How
to
you
have you.
doing?
What's up, Ali?
Right.
Hey,
So
guys.
continue.
So Arwen, the clouds are above your head, right?
Yeah, you could say
And
that.
does the sun appear to be above the clouds? Does it appear?
Nope.
No, it doesn't. Where does the sun appear to be relative to the clouds?
Usually behind them.
Behind the clouds.
That's right.
So when you, oh my
Or
god.
right next to them.
Okay, I don't agree. That's not what I see when I look outside.
Well, that's what because you draw more assumptions to it. It's called
really.
physicality assumption bias.
Physicality assumption biased.
Yes.
I don't have a bias.
No,
It's
no, it is. It's a psychological effect.
the sun in the air is as obvious to me as the Earth looking flat. I go outside, I see the sun above the clouds, and I'm not going to doubt myself because you do.
Puff. Yeah,
The
but
sun is clearly at a higher elevation than the clouds.
that's if you assume that it
What about on
has
this
an
picture?
elevation.
Is this picture got the sun highly above the clouds?
As the what?
Look on screen right now.
Yeah.
I just see it on the edge of my vision.
Well, that's when the sun's
in a
setting, right?
demi-sphere around me. That's where we see the globe of the heavens. All
When,
of
when it converges to a point in one view, that's the sun appearing to go to the horizon line because it's converging to a point, or it's going beneath the surface of the Earth.
Nope.
See,
Oh,
but
we've got a troll,
that's the
troll,
reason
troll,
you're
troll.
asking that question.
Hold
right?
on, hold on.
Got him.
Got him. Bastard. So, Tommy, are you suggesting that there's only two alternatives? One,
It could be a third.
that it's disappearing to a convergence point. The other, that the Earth is turning, forcing it to disappear behind the leading edge of a sphere. Are you saying those are the only two
Or there could be a
alternatives?
third option that I haven't explored, but the two the most prominent ones would be them two, right?
Well, the problem with that is unaddressed regarding Arwen's point. So Arwen's saying we don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, I would argue that solar panels gives us a good. They work, right? They charge up, and they can store power, and they can power up houses and objects.
Right.
So there's obviously something about the sun
Yes,
that we can
light,
depend from.
daylight is hitting us. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's
And it
photons
gives
that
off
we can absorb as power.
And it's coming from the direction of where we see the apparent sun disk.
And solar panels
But what I
work.
claim is that the apparent sun disk is like a side effect. It's not really a physical object you're seeing. It's an optical side effect of the daylight coming from that direction in relation to your position.
Well, you would say that like the sun kind of is like a rainbow.
Yeah,
Okay,
in a way,
I understand that.
of a different nature.
Yeah,
Or
wait,
a step up.
that's your one kind of way of kind of wish-washing and discrediting the observations and the conclusions we can draw from the sun by putting a smoke screen over the sun.
So
then you
what
can-
proof do you have of its exact locality?
The fact that I can see it,
Is that a proof? Oh, seeing things is
same way I
proof
can
of
see-
locality, is it?
the same way I can look at the Earth and it looks flat to me, is the same way I can look at the sun and say, "Wow, that looks very
Well,
high."
guess what? I'm looking at my monitor right now. I'm seeing the background of Nathan's hangout,
yeah.
and it looks really far away.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but it's actually 30 centimeters in front of me, and it's flat. Right? So yeah, looks can be deceiving.
I'm just going to fight for Tommy a second, Arwen. So I'm going to put this to Arwin, Tommy, on your behalf, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So what Tommy's saying, Arwin, is if we can say that's a clock, that's a spire, that's a boat, we just see it, it's just there. Why can't we do that with the sun? That's what Tommy's saying. There it is. I see it, right? Am I correct, Tommy?
Yeah, that's quite correct. Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Right, sure.
I've got
Sure,
an
the sun is
example.
there, but you don't know that it's actually a physical thing in a literal location.
But what we do know is that we have a good understanding of what the sun is because we're able to have solar panels and we're able to work with the sun in ways more than just the way that we look at it. Well, solar panels do work.
Yeah, because sunlight is physically there.
So we know that there is photons coming from the sun.
Sunlight is there.
The sun is giving off energy.
Solar panels work on sunlight, not on the disk we see.
Hang on. I don't think we're going to argue. I mean, we're getting off track of the original question, and also I don't think we would all disagree. I mean, we would not refute the fact that the sun is giving off some kind of light, giving off some kind of heat, and creating solar panels.
Yep.
But I have something to nature to get to the nature. Hang on, Erwin. Hang on. I've been quiet.
We don't disagree. We do disagree on that. Very much so. The sun doesn't give off heat.
Okay, it doesn't warm up the day.
Sunlight hitting the material.
Okay.
Hang on. There's a point. We've got off track of his original question. And I've got a video that I can show you right now to show that even a physical object that's giving off light can reflect underneath something, even though it's higher.
Yeah, but that would happen. That would happen throughout the day. I've already answered that one to you earlier, right?
No, what were you talking about throughout the day?
Yeah, it would happen at any. If the sun is above and it can illuminate things from underneath,
Not
that would
necessarily.
happen. Well,
Not necessarily.
we only see this phenomena as the sun appears to set and go below the horizon.
Okay,
This is the only time.
Let me show you the video, and then we could talk about it. Okay. This is Rob Skiba. Rob Skiba did this. I'm sharing it.
Okay.
Do you see it? I can blow it up here just a little bit. I'm not going to play the sound because I don't want to.
Yeah, I've seen this before. I've seen this.
Okay. So here's an explanation of a physical object that's higher than the little tray there that can reflect light.
Now you have to prove the atmosphere is a lens.
Okay, I think on this show they do it every day, showing that the atmosphere is a lens.
Well,
on this show,
you have to show the inconsistency of the sun changing size due to the atmospheric lensing conditions, which isn't something that we see. And so this experiment is completely flawed in many ways because it does not represent what we see in the world. So continue.
What do you mean it doesn't represent? You can, if you do the observation, it shows it setting.
The atmospheric lensing that you're about to demonstrate is a very fixed situation, and the atmosphere that would change day in, day out. So it would be an inconsistent test. It would have to give out different readings at different days, but that's not what we see. What you're showing is a lens that can only act in that particular way that will work for this particular science experiment, but it's not. It's not the atmosphere in the world changes at different days. So some days it's thicker, some days it's lighter. So you would never get the same results. You would have to do this test with different lenses, okay? And different lenses will give you different outcomes, right? And that's not
you asked for evidence to show how on a flat surface that the light's underneath, and I've given it to you. Now you're bringing in the problems that can be resolved and work themselves out, and this is part of the discussion. But I think even in this panel, we've shown that atmosphere can magnify images. Even Rob had a video showing that. He showed that the atmosphere can magnify something off in the distance. So,
but if the atmosphere was to work as a lens as you claim it to be, or you've kind of demonstrated it in ways, it would change each day. The atmosphere is not the same in 2 days, right? So some days the atmosphere would work as a lens, as you say. But every single day you look at the sun setting with a solar filter and you get a true size image of that sun. And regardless of the atmospheric conditions, does not change the size of the sun dramatically to a point where you can say, oh, atmosphere was up today. The sun has definitely changed. So the point being that the atmosphere does not work as you're kind of trying to make it work.
Shout out to Awaken Narrative for the super chat. Says obviously and observably flat. Indeedy.
So I've seen.
I think we got.
Sorry.
I think we got a little bit sidetracked from.
Hello.
You're breaking up a bit, Ali.
Yeah. Your sound is breaking up a bit.
Oh, sorry. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better.
That's better.
Oh, shit.
No, you can hear you now.
Oh, God.
We can hear you cursing.
Okay.
It's all good.
So I was going to ask Tommy then, right? So you are saying all observations are negated, so they can never be used as proof, right?
No, I think that observations are very are pieces of the puzzles of evidence. Yeah, I think that what you see can be used as evidence, right? And you can build a nice.
No, but you just said, did you not just say, well, you can't rely on observations, you know, when whoever it was that was talking.
No, that was Brenda. That was Brenda, and I was arguing very adamantly against Brenda because.
All right, so they can. Yeah. So why, right? So why would you tell Arwen or Chocolate Saying or whatever that you should disregard your observations because
I never said that.
Real?
I never said that.
No, that's not what he said. So it's completely the contrary to that. So what he's saying, Ali, is if I am to assert that we can just see lighthouses or whatever I assert as a flat Earth proof, then he can use the same standard with the sun. I'm waiting for somebody to actually ask when he's been to the sun and checked what it is and touched it, but no one's asking that question yet.
All right, okay. I thought he was asserting that you couldn't use that as proof.
No, I think observations are evidence, you know, and you can piece together all the evidences that you can see with your eyes.
Yeah, but they're exactly, and that's exactly what I'm going to say now then.
Okay.
That's exactly. But I can remember you coming on like quite a while ago.
Okay.
Talking about observations weren't, you were arguing against observations that Ranty had made, Shane and Riley had made.
Riley.
Whatever you were arguing against. But you were arguing against these observations.
I argued against Riley with he says he has got evidence for
No. Stop. Just a second, right? Forget about what you're going to say that you were specifically arguing.
Come on, then.
But you were arguing the fact, wait a minute, you were arguing the fact that these people had made observations. That was their argument. Yeah. And now you're saying that they are now relevant, but yet, as I say beforehand, when you...
What? Give me an example. You're just quoting me from the past, and yet you're not really giving me a quote of something that I have actually said in order for me to actually rebuttal what you're saying. It's like you're talking to some voice in your head, because right now I'm sitting here and you can explain to me exactly what it is, and I can exactly...
No, wait a minute. No, right, one second. That's what you call gaslighting, right? And I can assure, wait a minute. I can assure everybody to go back and check what I'm saying about what this guy done before when he came on this discussion. Place. Now he's saying observations are okay. And this is a point. This is a point that us people that believe that there's a problem with the shape of the earth, as we're saying, they keep changing their story. And this guy here is a perfect example of someone changing the story. And go and check my facts.
You're
Just
not
go back
really
and check.
quoting me. You're just saying you said something, but I am not telling you what that something is. But you did say something. I'm asking you to tell me exactly.
And now you're going to philosophize. Now what you're going to do is you're going to do is you're going to philosophize. Oh, I didn't say that because there's this little subtlety here.
I'm not getting triggered. I refuse to get triggered. I'm going to laugh at you because I'm still waiting for what this apparent.
No, I'm not trying to trigger you.
Okay, well then please tell me what I supposedly said, and then we can go forward.
I'm not trying to.
How about you just ask him what are your reasons to believe it is a globe? That would be more engaging, maybe.
No, I didn't want to do that, but I'm going to be quiet now. But I just wanted to point out because I had to listen to this guy.
I'm asking you to quote what I said.
Because this guy.
Stop.
Excuse me. This guy here.
What I exactly said, so we can address
this guy here. This guy here came on when he first came on and introduced himself. He was a skeptic, right? And then he kind of slipped himself into, I'm a flat earther. I'm a kind of.
Never once claimed to be flat earther.
And then, yeah, that's fine. Look. We can all go back. Nathan has recorded every single episode of this, right? So
I have
then
never
suddenly-
been a flat earther. Let me explain. Like, no, just stop
Suddenly-
now. You've said enough. You've said enough. Now it's time.
Suddenly,
It's time for me to talk.
suddenly, suddenly that he came on and he started attacking. It was like, it was from one episode to the next. I wish I could precisely show this.
Okay,
Because
cool.
1 minute he left an episode before and he was a flat, not a flat earther, but he wasn't.
Yes, I was
And then the
never a flat
next
earther. I get that.
episode, one
Get that
episode
correct.
later, one episode,
That's correct.
or the next time that he turned up, he was like full on aggressive, hating on everybody and
No,
stuff
that's
like
not
that.
true. You're misrepresenting
Well, it is
the whole
actually, because you
situation.
can go back.
Shall I
Trust
give you
me.
an
Look,
example?
He has moved.
Dude.
You get the point here. This is
dude, I know it's right. But anyway, I'll mute myself now. I just had to say,
Can I represent myself
just had
properly?
to
You
say
actually
that
allowed me to
about
talk. Well, you've misrepresented
Tommy.
me. When I
Oh,
first
God.
came on the Nathan Oakley show, right? I brought what I believed to be this evidence for that proves that the Earth can't be flat. Nathan had gone through the whole things and had a go at me, right? I went and reviewed that debate I had with him on the panel with my friend Adam, right? Adam told me that the things that I was arguing with Nathan about, that he has a point, because I didn't really understand the maths that I brought to the table. I didn't. I didn't really.
You sound like a little boy giving excuses.
come on.
He said, "Oh, it wasn't my fault. Oh, it was
I reviewed this with my friend Adam.
It was
I reviewed this with my friend Adam.
It's
and I
honestly
came
good,
back-
man.
Shut up, man. I came back the next day and I spoke to Nathan. I said, you know what? I reviewed the argument we had yesterday with my friend, and I came to the conclusion that I've had to unlearn everything I've learned, and I have to listen to you guys and try to understand.
It was him. It wasn't my fault.
Me off.
It wasn't my
Stop
fault.
Stop me up. So I had to unlearn everything I learned, and I had to take into consideration the alternative explanation for boats disappearing over the horizon, or things tend to disappearing. And then everyone was quite shocked that I backed down from my previous argument and I accepted that this could possibly be another explanation for something, right? I never said I was a flat earther. I just said this one example that you've given me here could be another explanation for something. And that's all I ever said. You guys jumped onto the opinion of saying, oh, Tom is a flat earther now. I've never claimed I was a flat earther. I've never disbelieved in gravity. I've never disbelieved in any of the things that you claim in here. I stuck around for a week.
Hey,
Tommy,
it's in Wikipedia.
Let me finish talking because it's a long story.
It's in Wikipedia, Tommy the Flat Earther.
Straight, okay? I'm setting you
It
straight.
says it in Wiki.
Now, I listened to you guys for a week, and I've seen the way that you guys debate, and I didn't. And when I come across evolution, I had a problem because I know.
Oi.
I know.
One second. Excuse me.
I know evolution.
Excuse me, Mr. Monkey.
We have a constructive conversation here. This is getting really annoying.
You guys. That's not constructive. You must admit, Arwen. We don't like to get, as individual thinkers, we do not like to get. We don't like to get called you guys, so don't say you guys. Be specific. Who was it
Just shut up,
did
mate.
that to you, Tommy?
You're just here to troll and obfuscate me. I'm done with you, man. Don't come in here and strawman me and tell me what I said. You ain't even really quoted me on anything I exactly said. You've just come in here and told me what you think or how you kind of half remember it, but that's not accurate. You want to hear from the horse's mouth. Ask me the question, and I will tell you, hand on heart, every single time, 100% correct, because I'm the person who experienced it, not you. I'm the person that you've come and asked this question to. So I'm telling you, that's how it went. I've never claimed to be a flat earther.
Thomas.
I've never claimed to believe in all the things. I just said there's one thing that I had to review with my friend, and he pushed me over the head that you may have a point.
Easy,
and I give you a week of my time to learn it.
One second. What happens in this world, right? You get what you deserve, and you've been a dick, and that's what you've done. You've just been a dick, and that's all, and you're getting what you deserve, and I'm just giving it to you.
What's that? What is it that I deserve?
Twat. Exactly. The dishonesty that you actually argue. Wait a minute. The way that you argue for this supposed ball earth or whatever is disingenuous.
If you say so. I don't agree.
Well, of course you won't agree. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I don't know, but you've come in here. You've just trolled the whole conversation. Well done, and I'm done with talking to you. Thank you for asking the question.
Now you can blame me for trolling.
Go and talk to somebody else.
Now you can try
else. I
and
don't want to have a conversation with anymore. I'm done with you.
with me. All right, that's fine. What I will do now.
Can I go back to the original topic?
Indeed,
Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
please, Paul. That'd be great.
Tommy, which has more atmosphere do you look through when you look up or you look out? How much more atmosphere are you looking through?
I'd say as you're looking out, you would probably see it more because you're looking along the surface of the Earth, and the Earth would be radiating heat, and you'd have more. Things dissipate as they get higher and higher. So I'd say if you're looking straight up, there'll be less things that could come into play. So I'd say across the Earth rather than up in the sky.
So you're going to be looking through more atmosphere, right? If you're looking out across, okay. Have you ever seen a supermoon over off in the horizon?
I don't know. No, I don't think I can recall a supermoon. No.
I mean, I see them here in Tennessee a lot especially in October. If you look over to the horizon, the moon looks massive. I mean, it looks huge off in the distance. But as it rises throughout the night, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller as it gets higher in the atmosphere.
But the moon is a lot closer to us, right? So the differential changes are probably going to be a bit more drastic and probably more noticeable.
No, I'm talking about just pure observation. I'm looking across.
The moon kind of goes around us in an elliptical way, doesn't it? It's not like a perfect circle. It does kind of, it's a kind of elliptical the way it circulates us, right?
So you're saying over the course of a few hours, probably 6 hours, that you're saying if I understand you correctly, you're saying that the moon is going to go from being real close to real far away in 6 hours.
Shout out to Renee for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much.
What's that, Nathan? Sorry.
I just shouting out somebody for a super chat. Thanks, Renee.
Oh, sorry. So
what I was going to say, nobody has really answered my question yet of the clouds being illuminated. But
I'm trying to get there.
Let me go back. The moon doesn't circulate the Earth in a perfect circle when it should never differentiate in size because it gets closer or further away. It kind of ellipses around the Earth, right?
Okay, I'm not arguing that point of what the moon is doing up in the sky. I'm doing my pure observation. I'm going by pure observation.
Okay. Huh. So the moon changing size, that's a good reason why that possibly is happening. And that's just off the top of my head. I've never done no research of this moon thing that you're talking about right now, but what I'm aware of is that the moon does ellipse around the Earth. So therefore, it will differentiate in size because it's a lot closer than the sun.
Well, that's what my point is. So you're saying if I take what you're saying is correct, then in a 6 hour period, because I could see the sun setting over on the horizon, it's very massive in the atmosphere. You could see it is very massive. But in a 6 hour period, it's going to be virtually overhead. So probably from the time of sunset, when the moon is off in the distance, to roughly about midnight, it's up high in the sky. So So you're saying, if I take what you're saying is correct, that means it's really close to the Earth at the horizon, but then it's further away at the peak. Right.
Like I said, I mean, this is something that I'm not very aware on, and I will say there's things that I'm possibly wrong on. But off the top of my head, I know that the moon it apparently is going around us in an elliptical fashion, which would give the observation of somebody on the Earth that the moon would be changing size because it's a closer object than the sun, and it's ellipting. It's not going around in a perfect circle that's perfectly symmetrical with the Earth. It's kind of ellipsing, and that ellipsing effect will give you the effects of getting bigger and smaller. So
I understand the concept, but a simple observation. I mean, to me, the simple explanation is that you're seeing through more atmosphere, which there's more moisture, there's more other particulates, there's other things in the atmosphere that can account for that looking larger in the atmosphere than when I look up when there's less atmosphere.
So it can be one of the two things. It can be the atmosphere that's acting that way, or it could be that the moon is ellipting like it supposedly does. So really, if we could use the mathematics, if we could do some sort of maths to work out the moon in the atmospheric conditions in that day, that it's appearing bigger, then why doesn't the sun, when it passes through that same atmosphere, behave the same way?
I think it does, and I think it depends on what area of the country. Let me finish, Tommy. Hang on. I think if you have more moisture in the air, I think the moisture has a lot to do with it. If you look at probably a dry desert when there's less moisture, or in cold climates when the humidity is very low, I think what you're saying, I mean, that I mean, it would be, well, actually, I take that back.
Well,
There's actually evidence to show that it gets smaller in those drier climates than it would be in more humid climates, which I'd have to find some stuff to prove that, but that's just more my speculation at this point. But I think there's just the fact that I think there's explanations other than the elliptic perspective is can account for it. And I think there's other explanations that can account for the sun right under the cloud.
We know that the moon circulates elliptically, and it will be changing size. And you're using that little bit of wiggle room to then assert and push this idea that the atmosphere works as a lens. But yet you're not willing to use that same consistent method when it comes to the sun, because you don't know the distance of the sun, you don't know what the sun is, and blah blah blah. And
there is no distance to the sun.
There you go.
Hello.
There you go. So,
hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on, Tommy.
Work.
Hold on. Hello, Anon. How you doing?
It's me. How you doing, man?
Very good. Just give me 1 second. I want to turn you up a bit. Can you say something else?
Sure. What do you want me to say?
That's all I need. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let me jump in real quick and ask Tommy something. So, Tommy, you have affirmed a lot of what we say in terms of trusting our eyes, right?
Yeah.
So, when you look up in the sky and you see the sun and the moon, when they are up in the sky, do they look to be about the same size to you?
Yeah, sometimes they look to be like quite exactly the same size.
Okay. So my question is, what makes you alter your interpretation of what you see to then say that the moon is smaller than the sun?
Because sometimes the eclipses aren't properly, like you can see that they don't fit exactly, because it depends on like the position of the sun, and the moon, and sometimes it doesn't totally eclipse the sun. The moon. What else can I say off the top of my head?
So okay. So let me go off on what you just said there for a second. So you say that if the moon is supposed to be eclipsing the sun, it doesn't always match up exactly. So they're not precisely right. So would you say the sun is 400 times larger?
Another shout out to Rene for smashing the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much indeed.
If it was so much further away, then it would make sense. That would be consistent. That wouldn't be a contradiction to what the heliocentric model is claiming. So what I'm trying to find from you guys is a direct contradiction. But all I'm seeming to get is denies of the evidence that's purported is not good enough for you, or what else? I can't remember the other bit, but like misunderstandings and misinterpretations. Now, I agree that these things they do look quite similar, same size, but there's other times when it doesn't, and I feel like I can't just, I have to look at I have to ignore a lot of evidence in order to believe that the Earth, the sun hasn't got a distance, the sun isn't above the clouds. There's a lot of stuff that is quite crazy for me to accept. I have to ignore a lot of things.
Tommy, can I say something then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking that stance and you believe that you're being honest from taking that stance, which is totally respectable.
Thank
but
you.
You're still taking a stance. You understand? You're still taking a side.
Same as you taking the side by saying.
No, I'm not. Dude, this is the thing. No, I'm not. I'm not taking any side at all.
Okay.
I'm taking the fact as right because I've been told something all my life, right? I've been told this fact, right?
Okay, yeah.
And now I've been presented with some questions about exactly what's happened, like another alternative opinion, right? Now you are kind of saying that I'm the type of person that's going to drop everything that I got taught, indoctrinated or whatever, just to go for this other. Do you never ask yourself, wait a minute, right? Even though I believe something, why are these people doing that? And it seems to be the consensus with the people that can't understand why we're even questioning it, is that we're lunatics, we're crazy people, or we don't understand. Wait a minute, we don't understand science. But the problem is, we got told we don't understand science. And as Quantum Eraser and Nathan has kind of pointed out in a kind of a fucking strong way to make people actually look into it. Right, what is the scientific method? What is it? Or whatever. Now, it might not be, wait a minute, Tommy, it might not be exactly, because I can argue for that everything's scientific. An observation, that's the beginning of the scientific. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's natural or whatever. You can go into the semantics or the philosophy of what it is. But for you to kind of disregard and not even think, well, why do these guys
That's
think
not what
that, right? And then you look into it. Wait a minute.
You're
then you
saying
look into
so
it.
much. It's hard for me to respond and calculate everything that you're saying right now. Can you keep it a little bit short so I can actually respond to one thing rather than you just saying a
Well,
bunch
see, you saying that, I thought actually there's probably
I'm
people
not but you
that
are
follow. There's
drawing out
probably
my
people.
attention span. You were drawing
Right,
out my
but
attention
Tommy-
span to the point that you've said so many things. I cannot store everything you've just said and give you a fair answer back because
I think a pen would work. You can use
No, but
a
I
pen.
thought I led you down. I actually thought I led you down a path. I was taking you hand in hand of what my meanings were. I thought I was taking you on a little journey down my thought process there. But
yeah, and I
there's- right, and that could be my fault.
Being a bit triggered. I don't mean to be the way I am, but I'm quite impulsive, and I can't help but I'm trying to keep in what you're saying so I can correct you on the parts where you're going wrong. But you're not allowing me to talk back, and then you keep.
Well, there's a problem. There lieth the problem, right? Is you're trying to correct me on the things that I'm wrong about instead of listening to what I'm going to say, instead of judging me. Instead of judging me, what I'm going to say, instead of judging and arguing in your head.
I see someone
he's wrong. Wait a minute.
Traffic. I'm going to say
listen, I'm teaching you something here. I'm
No,
teaching you.
you're
You might
walking
not
into traffic,
realise.
and I'm saying stop. You're walking into traffic.
Wait a minute.
You're leading me into traffic, and I'm trying to say I'm not following you anymore because you're going to walk and get run over. Stop walking towards the traffic. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you're going to say. But I'm trying to teach you something deeper because you're seeing
You're
it
trying
on
to walk me into oncoming traffic. That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not trying to. I'm not.
To me, it seems
Absolutely
like
not.
I'm trying to
See
where you're going wrong. Okay.
There you go. Sorry, Tommy. Right, but the thing is, if you think that's what I'm trying to do, you're wrong.
I know. Okay, come on. Finish
Right?
what you're saying.
No, but you are wrong because only I know what I was doing there. Right? You don't. You're surmising on a prejudgment. If someone starts talking in that kind of way, that's what he's doing. You already decided, and that's the point you're making.
Your behaviour is nothing to do with it because you're just innocently walking me into traffic.
No, but that's what you think I'm doing. You understand that?
Yeah, well,
right, that's your perception.
Okay.
But in my mind, but wait a minute. What I was trying to do, I was trying to lead you. There is no point. The point is, right? The point is that these people that say that they think of this and they have they're open-minded and stuff like that, they don't actually realise that they're not being open-minded because they've decided that the science or the arguments that have been told, they're arguing from that perspective instead of arguing from a neutral, not taking either side.
I am the most unbiased person you will know.
No, but you're not because of your attitude, because of the way that you perceive
You
it.
saying that I'm not does not mean that I am not. You do not. You cannot sit here and tell me what I do and do not do.
But you proved it by.
You can't do that.
You proved
you are
it.
not psychic. No, I
Excuse me.
haven't. What you're proving is right. What you're proving now is that you're saying, well, people are saying that we're crazy because we want to question what we've been indoctrinated to believe. I don't believe that shit for a second, right?
Yeah, but one second.
Not letting me
proven,
talk to you. This is a very difficult conversation to have.
Yeah, but Tommy, and sometimes it's good to listen.
It's a very difficult conversation to have.
Yeah.
You understand that?
Yeah, but the point is the proof that I was making.
Awkward to talk to.
The proof that I was making, the proof that I've got is because you just judged.
Because of the way you're acting. You're acting
judged. Well, that's how you perceive I'm acting. You're perceiving me. Wait a minute. You're judging me by how you would understand someone would act in that way, and that was the idea they were trying to get across. Where I could be doing something totally. Dude.
Oh, right. I'm not allowed to talk, am I? I can't fucking say nothing. I'm just going to sit here and listen to you going on and on and on.
Yeah, you have to do that.
Go through
And
those
that's the only way you're going to learn, Tommy, is because you don't listen to people, right? It's because you've got the prejudgment.
Going on for half an hour, you still haven't made a point.
Well, I have.
Cool.
You just can't see it.
I can see your behaviour, which I've tried to put you.
Yeah, and that's fine.
But you know what? You're innocent. You're just trying to, lead me down this little road. You ain't doing nothing wrong. You're just, I'm just trying to what you're doing is just being you're just being awkward.
I never said I was doing anything wrong. I didn't say anything.
Look, the point being, people that flat earthers that are trying to question the things that they're taught, good on them. I don't mind people questioning the reality they live in. That's fine. Science encourages people to debunk this stuff and to come up with better explanations. That's encouraged in science. You doing that, there's no wrong. But when you make a claim from limited amount of knowledge and say, "Oh, the Earth is definitely flat," because I don't believe the indoctrination I've had, and you unlearn everything you learn, you're saying I'm making a position and I'm holding a position.
You said limited. You said limited, Tommy. What do you mean by limited? No.
Shout out to Colin Turner for the super chat. Really appreciate your support.
You said limited. What do you mean by limited knowledge?
You don't let me talk back to you when you're talking the same thing. So why should I let you do it? I'm only leading you down the road. Me. See what I'm saying? We can all act like an idiot, and we can all drag people down to stupid.
No. I'm saying I'm allowing you. I'm allowing you to interact now. Yeah? I'm allowing you.
You can't correct me now. How dare you try to correct me? How dare you?
So what do you mean by limited?
Correct me by limited.
Explain what do you mean limited?
Person you are now. Do you see what you're doing? You see, you're not allowing me to finish, and you wasn't going to sit there and let me teach you because you weren't. You're judging me, and now what you're doing is you
can't really teach anybody anything.
Okay.
You can't. You haven't got the capability.
Finish. You got. I'm trying to take.
Yeah, but Tommy, you don't understand. You're not understanding, right? You don't actually have the ability to teach anybody anything because you're taking it from a biased point of view. You understand? That's what you're doing.
Okay, all right, I agree with you. That's what I'm doing because you say so.
You both get a participation.
Well, that's good, and that's that's always the beginning of healing is the acceptance that you're on the wrong path. What I would now advise you to do is to really look internally. It's only advice. I'm not telling you what to do.
Excuse me, I don't want your advice, and I refute your advice. I don't want to hear it.
Okay,
sorry,
I accept that as your right as a free-thinking human being. You have the right to think exactly what you want to think without anybody attacking you, right?
I understand that.
Right, so why the fuck are you coming here?
I need to explain myself to you because
why
you know
no swearing. No swearing. Stop. Both of you, stop. If you're going to start swearing at each other, it's obviously too triggered.
I'm sorry.
It's
lost its value.
I didn't swear, did I?
I did. No, it was me. It was me. Sorry, Nathan. I apologise. But the point is, so what thinks then, right? So I won't attack you for your beliefs. So why do you come here and attack? Why do you think there's so much?
You know me better than I know myself, so you should know the answer to that. Let's move on.
Well, can I say why I think it is?
I don't really care, and honestly don't want your advice, and I'm done.
But maybe, do you think maybe other people would like to hear why that you come on here and attack people with a different belief than yours?
I pay attention. If you honestly want to know why I am interested in flat Earth and why I hear people's arguments about things, I tend to have a decent knowledge on the world and around me, and I tend to just find it fun.
Yeah, but I asked why you attacked it. Why would you attack it? Attack it. Why would you do that instead of come and discuss it? Kind of, there's a big difference.
Do you not realise that your behaviour is also a result of the way that people treat you? Or do you think it's
all right? So you're justifying because you got attacked.
All right,
you're justifying. Wait a minute. You're justifying because you got attacked.
Guys,
are you going to answer the question?
You got attacked. You got
Enzo
attacked.
Barnes. Hello.
You got attacked.
You to answer the question.
For fuck's sake.
You got attacked because you got attacked when you were younger. You think, therefore, it's logical to attack other people now that you're older.
Ali, hang on a second. You know what? He's actually in here just trying to discuss. So
no, he's not.
He's...
No, stop. He's not.
Hey, Lorenzo,
Okay,
can I just say hello?
I know
Sorry,
Tommy.
Paul. Sorry, bear with me a
Nathan
second.
knows
Sorry,
Tommy,
guys. Hello,
Arwen
hello,
knows
hello.
Tommy, we
Sorry
all
to
know this
interrupt.
man.
Bear with me. Hello.
What do you mean?
Hello. Hello, Lorenzo.
I'm
How you
mute.
doing? You say hello, Lorenzo?
He's just you just this.
Shut up, Tommy.
Oh god.
We get hello from
Lorenzo.
our new guest.
Hi.
Good to have you.
Hello, new
Thank
guest.
you.
I think this discussion needs to be taken. If you want to have that discussion with Tommy outside of this, I think that would be fine. I mean, I was actually having a discussion with him, and we were trying to get somewhere. And then, Allie, you were kind of just keep kind of berating him, and you come in here for this is a debate format. So in a way, in a debate format, you attack. So saying he's attacking our position is relevant. That's part of why we want people here to disagree with us, so we can try to learn and figure this out.
Shout out to Dal West Watson for the super chat. Really appreciate your support. Thank you very much indeed.
He was projecting what he was actually doing. He was actually projecting that he's judging me. He thinks I'm here pretending to be fucking Nathan's. Sorry about the swearing. He thinks I'm here pretending to be Nathan's friend, and this is all some sort of setup. No, me and Nathan don't see eye to eye. Right? He will attack me in a moment's notice if I say something that he doesn't agree with. And he will hold no bars. I don't know Nathan. I've never met Nathan. I've never seen Nathan. I've came onto his show.
Being so damn triggered over it, just let it slide.
All right, let's
Talk
move on.
slowly. Talk slowly.
Okay, so if it's possible, can Paul and Tommy continue their conversation about the atmospheric dome? That'd be wonderful.
We were trying.
Yeah, just I think the elliptical moon would be one of the reasons why it appears to be going bigger and smaller, rather than just the atmosphere being responsible for it. It can only be one of the two, and I think if it's the atmosphere like you think it is, then why can't you use the same logic when it comes to the sun? How come the sun gets a special pass to being this evasive, not knowing where its position is, and changes? And I'm sorry that I talk very fast. It's that I have 3 sisters. And we all talk extremely fast, and that's just how I am. I talk very fast.
Well, I talk very slow, so I'm from the south, so I think we compensate for each other. Well, here's the thing about the sun. I was thinking while all this other discussion was going on, trying to account and think about it. Well, for one, the sun is very bright, so and I understand filters and all that stuff can account for it. But even if you're using a camera to filter out the that you don't know how far it's been magnified in the lens of the camera or even the telescope. So to me, with the sun, it would be a little bit more iffy. But with the moon, because it looks more solid. I'm not going to get into the semantics of what it is. Okay, so it can actually, by that measurement, be a little bit more able to measure and look at. The sun, because
you seem to cut out there. Still there?
Yeah, you've lost your mic, Paul. That or Lorenzo sniped off the panel.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm still here.
I think it's probably his internet.
Right in the middle of Paul's moment. Goes from non-stop verbal diarrhea with Ali and Tommy to great big long gaps. Dead air. Just marvellous.
I'm still here. I don't know whether that's a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, then we have some time to breathe.
You're good, Ali. You're good.
Yeah, you're good.
I just you've come in with the preconception in your head that I'm some sort of like actor or something like that. Like, all you need to do is ask me the question. You don't need to come along with all this psychology bullshit. You just need to go, no, Tom, are you chatting shit? Is this what I think it is? And I'll just tell you straight. And you've come in here misrepresenting me. And trying to say, oh, you said this, but you didn't really say nothing. You never quoted me exactly anything, and you've just come in here and just had assumptions about me. And you want the truth. I'll give it to you straight.
Keep on responding to it.
Who's
Don't be
that?
so trolled.
Is he talking to me? Was that to me, Tommy, or something?
You, right? That was to you, yeah.
All right, and right, can you sort of repeat that slowly in English?
Sorry. If you think that I'm some sort of actor, or you think I'm just here chatting,
right? No, I don't. I never said that. So, right, continue. Next.
Whatever
continue.
it is you think that I am, you can just ask me and I will tell you directly. You don't have to.
But I don't think you're a troll. Listen.
Okay.
I never said, listen, dude, get out of your head. I don't think that. I just think that you're just ignorant of the situation, and you're taking it from a point of view that is biased, right? Because you're attacking the idea of it. Anybody that attacks an idea is taking it from a point of view. You understand? Right? Because to attack it means that you disagree, so you have another idea for it, right? Okay,
Ali,
who has he been attacking? I'm not attacking you. Right? But
he's been attacking Brenda
that.
mostly since I joined, so I don't
know. One second, Armin. I'm just saying, right? If someone is going to attack an idea, that means that they have another idea about the idea that they're attacking, right? They've got another opinion.
Can I respond right now while I have this idea in my head?
That's the point. Now, wait a minute. Let me go a bit further.
Respond, please.
Right, 1 minute. Let me just go a bit further. So, if you have an opinion about something, right? If you have an opinion, I'm talking about me and everybody. I'm not talking about you, Tommy. It's not all about you, my friend. Sorry to disappoint you. You're not the center of the universe, right? So what I'm saying is, right, and I apologize for I did swear that, but the point I'm making is, the minute you have an opinion about something and you criticize something else, you're already starting from a biased point of view, no matter where you get it from, or you want to argue against it. Now, what you have to do is then you have to understand it. Where did I get that point of view from? And then if it's from a logical and a good if it's from a good place and you think you can logically, you can argue to yourself saying, yep, that's come from a right good source. That's what I believe.
I'm back if you guys want to get back on topic.
Tell me when this guy's finished. Fucking
well,
right,
do you know you can
cut the bad
gaslight all
language,
you like,
Paul.
my friend, and that doesn't work. But the point I was going to say was, so after doing that, then when you're honest with yourself, then form an opinion. Don't just start coming on chat things and spouting the rubbish.
Oh, it's just rumpusing now. All I've got is rumpusing. Right.
I'm back if we want to get back on topic. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
Mate, like Paul, I've had a discussion with you and I haven't really attacked you. I've changed ideas back and forth. I said about the Earth, illuminating clouds. You give me an example. I give you a report to that. We're having a back and forth. Rumpus came in here. He made stupid claims. I attacked him because. He was
stop. Stupid. Right, Ali's said his piece. You content, Ali? You happy? We all good? Can we carry on?
Okay, yeah, let's don't try.
Yeah, I'm finished, Nathan. Thank you. Thanks very much for your patience, bud. Thank you.
We're all good. Go ahead, Paul.
Sorry about that. What was the last thing you heard from me before my connection dropped? What did you hear? So I won't repeat everything.
Very little.
Sorry. I said, okay, I'll rewind. Basically, I was saying is I think that the moon looks to be a physical object. So I think to be able to determine if it's changing angular size in the skies is a little bit better than the sun, because there's so much sun that could, the sunlight is so strong, it would overwhelm most observation. And I understand using a filter, but even when you use a filter using a camera, how do you determine to make sure you're getting the angular size correctly? Because you're using an instrument. But I think there's some factors there that can contribute to that. So I think that's why I think we want to focus on the moon to determine if the atmosphere is having an effect on the size or the angular size of an object, which like the moon. So which would account if there's any kind of refraction being done by the atmosphere, that could account for probably the sunlight under the clouds. That was my ultimate point. So I'll drop it right there.
That could give you, false outcomes, and your as far as I'm concerned, the atmosphere is probably responsible for the moon to be changed in size. And I just something off the top of my head, which I thought would, be
I'm not. I'm not even using. I'm using my own eyesight. I'm not using an aperture. I'm not using a camera. I'm not using a telescope. I'm looking. I can see it's larger on the horizon than when I get up to when it's. I mean, I could probably take my thumb and stick it out there and measure it with my thumb, and then take it up and measure it just with my own eyes.
Eyeball it, yeah.
So
Just eyeball it. You know, it's not important. Just use eyeball. I mean, I'm aware of the full extent of the question that you're asking me, but I'm just off the top of my head. I do know that the moon ellipses us. It doesn't, you know, and that would be a good explanation of why it appears to be changing size at the rate. I'm not saying you're saying wrong or right. I don't have enough knowledge on this topic in order to make a concrete proof or arguments.
Okay, well, let's talk about the elliptic. Let's talk about the elliptic. Okay, now if you're saying now the elliptic would mean that the moon's moving further away or moving closer at certain periods, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now if it's moving closer, then obviously the angular size would increase if it's moving closer. If it's moving further away, the angular size would.
That would be another explanation, yeah, rather than the atmosphere that you're.
Now you're going to have to account with the distance that it's traveling in the elliptic, account for the angular size. So you're going to have to factor that in. So if you're saying if it's the elliptic, I'm actually helping you try to figure it out, giving the means to try to.
It's kind of a, you know, I find I've got other things that you know that I can argue about in more detail. It's something that I'm quite, you know, I can't really give you what you probably want, because it's something that I don't really think is relevant. Like, you know, I don't think the atmosphere is affecting the moon. And off the top of my head, I've given you my alternate possibility, which makes sense also. And to be honest with you, I mean, it's interesting that you have this view, but I do think that there is more than one reason for why its appearance changed size. And I haven't got enough. I haven't got enough education or knowledge in this subject in order to.
Tommy, can I answer the question that you posed before?
Anything you want, mate? I mean, yeah, all that conversation. It's not all about me, apparently. You know, I do feel like it's been quite consistently questions coming back, and you know, I'm happy to hear what everyone else is saying also, and to add my 2 pence into. But yeah, I mean, trying to rebuttal the simple point of clouds being illuminated from underneath when the sun actual sets. Like, I mean, I'm happy to hear people's view on that. That's the first question I asked.
Well, I have an opinion on that.
Cool.
Yeah, right. So depending on where you are on the Earth, if you see the sunlight coming from a specific direction when it's close to the horizon, if you then contact somebody that is, let's say, 100 kilometers in that direction of the sun, call them up, and you tell them, what do you see? They're going to see the sun further back on its arc.
Yeah.
And the sun there is going to be coming from another direction, right? So what actually happens is, as soon as the cycle is finished, when it goes below the demisphere, then there's literally going to be sunlight coming from that direction.
I understand. I agree with you.
Even though you won't probably see this phenomena of the sun disk itself anymore, because it's kind of fluid where the apparent disk appears, where the sunlight is coming from. It's fluid in relation to the position on the Earth.
You're watching this on Nathan Oakley channel, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980 live, then unfortunately this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you for tuning in and smashing the super chat. If you need something to keep you occupied after this live stream ends, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Where I'm standing, but to him, it would appear to be a glow of the clouds, and that's how you can communicate between two people and say, you know what, Earth obviously isn't beneath the clouds, but where I am, so it's obviously on over the curve, you know, and that's just common sense. Well, you don't want to accept that, that's fine.
Bullshit.
Okay, cool. If you don't really want to accept it, that's fine.
At the edge of your vision in a demisphere. up to the maximum length, pretty much, that you can see, and you get to see it if the sky is clear enough. But it's not physically, literally there.
If you say so.
And the sunlight direction just happens to come from where you see the disk.
But the way I digest that is evidence for, or we can agree that would determine there is some sort of, that would make sense on a ball. Like
no.
If I'm in the direction of the sun,
but that's really down presuppositional reasoning, assuming a lot. I don't do that.
Sounds good what you just said.
I'm just saying, look, that's where the daylight direction in relation to my position is coming from currently. And I know from experience that on another location, it's going to be coming from another direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Simultaneously.
So what's changing?
It's kind of weird how that works.
If it's a flat Earth, then why is it changing?
Because the sun is not in a literal position.
Okay, so it's an observative light bulb.
The daylight direction in relation to the position of the Earth. Can you understand that? It's the daylight direction in relation to your position on the Earth.
Arwin, you're just saying that. You're just smoke screaming.
It's true.
Arwin, you're not being reasonable. So
really? So that sun disk is
you don't know the distance of
the daylight there. That's where the daylight is coming from. Are you saying that's not true?
I'm saying that.
Because we can actually confirm that is the case without making all these presuppositions of a ball and that we're supposed to be on a ball because it's much easier to imagine how that works.
Let's presuppose it being flat.
I'm not presupposing anything. I'm presupposing that I don't have any proof that it's physical.
You yourself have said the Earth presents itself as flat. So assuming that it's flat is okay. Because you see it as flat.
Yes.
Right?
Where you're standing, the sun appears to go below the horizon, right? Where you're standing. Now, you go in, I go 5,000 miles in that direction, and I look up, the sun is above my head, right? But where you're standing, it appears to be below the horizon. Now, I can confirm where I am that the sun is still in the air, and where you can confirm that the sun is below the horizon. So when we're at both of these two positions, we have to communicate and think, well, what could
we have to presuppose, right? There's no other choice than to presuppose you're on the ball.
Evidently,
right? There's no other choice than to presuppose you're on a freaking ball.
I'm sorry
right?
that you don't look, Arwin. You're being really unreasonable now. Look at the way you're acting now,
right?
Arwin.
Well,
I'm bringing you closer to the answer. I'm bringing you closer to the answer, Arwin. You don't want to accept it.
Oh, I don't. Right.
Okay, I'm bringing you right to the answer.
Yeah. Because of the angular relations,
where you're
the
standing,
angle of the sun in one position on the Earth is in a different direction than in another, you conclude that you must deduce geometrically that you're on a ball because you presuppose the sun is in a literal position in circumference of that ball.
What I'm saying to you, Arwin, is that
that's exactly how it works. That's how the math works.
Can I explain my point?
You don't need to. I just did it for you.
Now you're being very unreasonable.
No, I just did it for you because...
No, you're not. You're being very unreasonable, Arwin.
Oh, so unreasonable that I did it for you.
Arwin, you're standing at point A. The sun appears to set. I'm at point B. The sun appears to be above my head. So we need to have a conversation about this. I see the sun above my head, above the clouds. You see the sun set.
You use the word above and below, all trying to imply a physical, literal relation.
Right, whatever.
Right?
You don't want to accept
all
it.
that I have and that you, in honesty, have is an angular relation of the heavenly body in relation to your position on the Earth. Yeah. And that's very well mapped out how those angular relations work in relation to the position of the Earth. Because it's been well mapped out. Yeah, but it's an angular relation, and that's all you got.
It's a relation. Yeah,
and you can extrapolate from that with math, whatever.
It's not all of it. It's one.
But you have no way to confirm it because you can't use triangulation on something. Confirmation is in a literal position.
It's one of many things. It's one of many things, not my only one. And it's the first step it's the first step of a flight of stairs, and you can't even take the first step.
You've not made any claims. You've not actually made any claims yet, as far as I can tell.
Well,
what's your claim?
my claim is that I mean,
Hey,
we
John.
both can agree that from my position, the sun appears to be here, and from your position, the sun appears to be there, and we can have a conversation about these two confirmed realities from our positions, and we can determine, well, what could be causing this, that I can still see the sun above me, and he sees the sun set below the horizon, and we can talk about what could be possible. If it's flat, then that would be kind of a contradiction, because if it was flat, that shouldn't appear to be below the horizon from where he is.
Yeah, it should.
Right? Well, the daylight direction is a mysterious thing now, isn't it?
Why should it?
Well, you said it when you
I
first
don't
came
know.
in on the first show. You said, is it perspective?
If it was perspective,
It is perspective.
it is categorically, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, if you're standing by a building that's 100 stories high, and you look up, you really crane your neck, right? And you can see there's a light on the top of it, yeah? And then you travel 20 miles away from that building. What do you think is going to happen to that light? Do you think you'll still have to crane your neck to see it when it's 20 miles away?
Well, the light moves, doesn't it? It's not a fixed point. It actually moves. So where you can stand 20 miles away, you can
Tommy,
Tommy,
don't just hand wave dismiss. Guys, can you not rumpus me? I've listened for a long time. Tommy, so forget the sun. I'm giving you a comparable example.
Yeah.
So you've got a light on top of a building, 100 stories, and you're at the bottom of the building, right next to it. What's your head doing?
I don't think you'd have to look up when you're at point A.
So you think when I'm standing next to the building, by the front door... Sorry, Tommy. You don't have to talk over my full example. I'd prefer you just let me get to the end of it so you can hear it and understand it. So you're standing at the base of the building, yeah? In order to see the top of the building and the light, I assure you, you would have to tilt your head up.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So now you're going to move 20 miles away from the building. Do you still have to crane your head up in order to see? No, you don't. Really? So what you're saying is that light's now on the horizon by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So we don't have to make any assumptions about being on a spinning ball then? We've just done that without any curvature, without any assumptions of ball. We just see it go towards the horizon.
As I walk away from it.
Yeah.
As I walk away from it, it would appear. The reason that would be is because of the shape of the Earth. That would be a determining factor.
So you're saying... So, okay, let's try it again. Let's say that we only move a mile away from the building, not 20 miles, right? So you stand... In fact, I don't even have to do that. Let's say we move 200 yards away from the building, right? From the base, you tip your head pretty much vertically to see the light. Now you're 200 yards away. Do you still have to tip your head completely vertically to see to the top of the building? Or do you have to tip your head...
You'd be able to see it, right? Yeah.
Do you have to tip... I hadn't quite got there. Nearly, Tommy. Nearly. So you're 200 yards away from the building. Do you still have to crane your neck almost vertically to see the light?
No, you don't.
Oh, and is that because of the curve of the Earth, right? Like you've just asserted when it got 20 miles away.
That's not because of the curve of the Earth, no.
Oh, so within 20, 30, 200 yards, you're tipping your head further down, right? The light's not moving. All that's happening is you're moving further away from it. But you're having to move your head down. And that's nothing to do with the curve of the Earth. So what if I move 500 yards away and I tip my head even further down? Do I blame the curve of the Earth then? Or is this just perspective?
Or the way the angle that you're looking at the light.
That would be perspective, wouldn't it?
I agree.
Right. So at what point between 200 yards and 20 miles are you going to say Earth curve takes over?
No, it's interesting. It's interesting, but I will say that it's not the only.
No. Interesting. No. It's just perspective.
What the way that you're explaining that does make sense. It does. I would expect to see that 200 yards away, the light at the top of that building.
Right. So we do it with a light in the sky, and suddenly it becomes Earth curve, Tommy.
Well, the sun is a lot higher than the clouds.
We don't know how high it is. I've got no clue. Are you now about to make a claim, finally, after 2 hours?
Well, it's not just this one little piece of evidence. Like I was saying to Arwin, this is just one of many things that can all conclude to this point. It isn't just simple as this.
In other words, the
Sorry,
entire
hold on,
body
Owen.
of
That was just a load of word salad. You didn't answer my question. So how do you know how far it is, Tommy?
How far up the sun is?
Yeah.
By looking and seeing that it's very high above the clouds.
So you look and declare how far it is.
That's one way. You can also do other things to determine how far it is. But the one I'm going to stick with for this argument's sake is that it clearly is a lot higher than the clouds.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, when I look up in the sky, when I go outside and I see the sun...
It's not higher than the clouds. Can you not see what's on screen?
I can see a picture of Arwin's or someone's...
Well, click on my icon. Right, we've got clouds higher in the frame of the picture than the sun. So what you've just declared is nonsense. What the hell are you talking about? Obviously on screen right now, not what you have declared. It's obviously not higher than the clouds, as demonstrated on screen right now.
Yeah. And if a person was...
Sorry,
was in
Tommy, stop.
If a person,
Tommy,
let me finish
Tommy,
my iPhone.
Stop. So you've just declared it's very far away because I can look at it and declare it. And when I get you to back it, your claim is based on it being higher than the clouds, whilst simultaneously ignoring what's on screen as you said it.
I'm about to address what's on the screen. If you allow me to talk, I will give you the reasoning. If a person is... Like, let's say...
Supposing they're on the ball, then it makes
sense. Let's say 1,000 miles in the direction of the sun, that sun would change its position.
Why are you asking me a question? You've just told me it's very far away. I've said why? Well, because I can look and declare. Well, why would you declare that? Because it's higher than the clouds. On screen right now, not higher than the clouds. And now you're giving me more word salad, Tommy.
Yep.
So let's go back to the original question. You're not dealing with Arwin or Ali anymore. You're dealing with me, Tommy.
And you are not allowing me to talk in a sense that I can get my information through to you.
Yeah, you have. You've told me that you've declared it's very far away based on it being... Now you're rumpusing me, Tommy. Tommy, when I talk, you shut up. I'm systematic... Tommy, shut up! I'm systematically taking apart your claim. So you've claimed, based on what you can see, it's far away because it's higher than the clouds. And it's not. So you can't help yourself. When you declare shit and the stuff you're declaring is quite literally contradicted by the thing on screen, you just have to rumpus me while I point that fuckwittery out to you. Is that your plan here, to defeat my arguments?
You want to have a conversation, Nathan? I'll give you a conversation. That picture of the sun is above the clouds still. From this, where you're standing on this, looking at that sun is not below the clouds. And if you put a person 1,000 miles in that direction of that sun, they will confirm to you that the sun is not below the clouds.
Really, Tommy? Can I just stop you? Can you see what I'm highlighting with my mouse?
Yes, the sun that appears to be.
Stop, Tommy! I didn't interrupt you. Now shut your mouth.
Ask me questions or answer it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, it's got a supplementary question. Shock horror. Yes, we can all see that it's a sun. Now tell me, is this cloud above or below the sun?
Below the sun.
Below? So it's here, is it, Tommy? By these cars that are below it?
No. We know
so it's below it. See, as far as I can tell, all the black stuff, I don't see any clouds below it, Tommy. I only see them above it. So, do you want to clarify your fuckwittery for me? Or are you going to tell me again that the clouds are below it when they're blatantly not?
That we live in, Nathan, we can tell that them clouds are appearing to be above the sun, but they are not.
Sorry, what's this word you've just used? Sorry, Tommy. Why am I getting rumpus by Arwin? What a shock. 2 hours I've given you to fight this out. Now I'm talking. Right, Tommy. What's this magic word you've just used? Appears. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, it means that it appears that the clouds are.
Sorry,
above
don't
the
just
sun
repeat
right
your
now.
statement.
We live in a free.
Are you a Dumbo? Do you not
we
understand English?
No. I
What
understand
does
perfectly
appears
fine.
mean? Appears.
Why are you being intellectually dishonest, Nathan?
Don't accuse me of being intellectually dishonest. I've just asked you where the clouds are above or below, and you've just told me and the audience that they're below, when quite clearly and obviously they're not.
It appears to be above.
Yeah, now I'm trying to get clarity on what the fuck appears means.
Appears means that it appears to be above them. But
Oh, really? Well, fuckwit. Let me just do it with my mouse, because you are a spastic. Here is the sun. Now, I do not see any clouds below it. This is below. There are no clouds. So your appears explanation makes no sense.
it makes sense when you picture it to be a three-dimensional world that you live in. That's not a 2D image.
A
We know
globe,
there's
you
more
mean?
layers
You
to
mean a
that.
globe?
We know there is more layers to what you are seeing right now. We know the clouds are above, beneath the sun, even though they appear to be above it on this particular picture.
Oh, I see. I knew we'd get there eventually. So we've got a fundamentalist belief at play then. We know this, do we, Tommy? How do we know this?
I stand in this position from morning to night. We can see the sun go over the clouds and appear to be setting, but it appears now that the sun is below the clouds, but we know it's not. We know the sun is up. Sorry, we know.
That's repeating your assertion and fundy belief again. So you're telling me what you know twice without actually telling me how the hell you know it, Tommy. So do you want to actually tell us how you've come to this fundy belief? Or are you going to tell me a third time that we just know this?
It's common sense, you see.
It's just common sense, is it? Yeah, fuckwit. That's why we've got this debate, because it's just common sense. Just come here and tell us about your fundy belief and call it common sense. Yeah, that'll fly. Well done, Tommy.
Well,
Good argument.
I'm not going to sit there and say that the clouds are above the sun, because we know it's not.
Oh, but why have you just done exactly that 3 times then?
We know better.
You've just done it, though. You've just said you wouldn't do that. That's precisely what you have done.
Right, you're confusing me a bit now, but just...
I'm confusing you now, fuckwit. Those clouds aren't below the sun. You're saying they are. You're saying they apparently are, but they're not.
You know the sun's above the clouds. You know the sun's above the clouds. You know it is. You know the sun's
it's on screen.
Even though it appears to
It's on screen. It's on screen right now.
We know
it's on screen. Why do you keep saying I know something? What I know your fundy belief about it.
It's my fundy belief. It's
not below, dumbass. It's not below. Can you not see that? They're not below.
The clouds are beneath the sun at all times.
Keep saying it. I'll just highlight it on screen for the audience again. There's the sun. Point out the clouds below. Where are they below it?
It's a three-dimensional world, Nathan, not a 2D image.
Sorry, we're going to get your fundamentalist belief again.
No, we're going to get our reality. If we go outside, it's a three-dimensional world.
Yeah, it looks
the
flat as a
clouds are
pancake.
above the earth, and above the clouds is the sun. The sun has gone over the curve, and it's appearing.
There it is. There it is. There it is, your fundy belief. So you've got nothing to back this other than your fundy belief. It's just a fundy belief, that's all you've got. So I knew we'd get there in the end. Lots of obfuscation. When it comes to me actually asking him to make his claim is, I've got a fundy belief that it goes behind the curve of the earth. That's your claim, Tommy. You've just got nothing to back it.
Oh, yeah, because just having you said we know it goes over the curve, and I don't know anything like that.
It's just that this arc, it makes across the heaven.
Should we make him feel better?
Easy.
Should we all sing a few hallelujahs?
Clouds. We know
That's how it works.
You can't deny the sun being above the clouds. At any point, we never see the sun beneath the clouds. At any point.
Yeah, we said this at the beginning, Tommy. You just didn't listen. We haven't got the vaguest idea what the sun is, but you've decided it's a physical thing going behind a physical curve that nobody ever sees, nobody can measure, nobody experiences. But according to this fucking fundy, we all know it, right? Yeah, no, you've just got a fundamentalist belief about it, Tommy. So we don't know that it's going behind some curve. We haven't got a clue what the sun is. You just assert what it is because you're a bloody fundy. That's all fundies do.
No denier. You're a globe denier, Nathan.
Yeah, I am a globe denier because there's no evidence whatsoever to suggest it. There's just fundamentalists who come and declare it, like you. Yeah, it's a globe because we all know. Well, how do we know? Well, because I'm telling you it's going behind the curve, right? We all know this. So that's as good as you've got. Just an assertion of your fundy belief. It's like when I ask people to give me gas pressure without a container and they assert their fundy belief. Well, you just go outside because space is real. So they just tell me what their fundy globehead belief is.
Just prove the distance to the sun. Prove the distance to the sun, Tommy.
I mean, as I said, there's ways to do that, but for the sake of this argument, we can all agree that the sun never appears when it's around us. To appear to be
Tommy, wait. There's ways to do that, or it's been done already.
Oh, Nathan doesn't want to admit that it's a three-dimensional world, and the image that he was using was kind of like, oh, look, on this picture it seems to be beneath the clouds, but we know damn well.
I'm pretty sure Nathan knows it's a 3D world.
So why is he saying? Well, he should know that what appears to be doesn't mean that it is.
Because you keep saying this word appears, and I don't know what the sun's doing. I haven't got the vaguest clue what it is, how it's formed. So what it appears to do, and what it does, are two very different things.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well, you're deciding that it's going behind the curve of the Earth. Well, what it appears to do and what you declare it is doing are also very different things. One is an understanding that we don't know what it is. The other is a fundamentalist assertion of what it is without any clue what it is. Just a fundy assertion.
Okay, many clues. Can I include one answer?
Can I just rewind there, right? Chocolate saying made a good point there. Tommy said, "Oh, there's ways to do it," and then moved on. And Chocolate, you read my mind when you said that, right? What are the ways that they actually prove that, Tommy? That's what I want to know. Instead of going on.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, the sun always appears to be above the clouds, no matter where you are on the earth. If you follow the sun around
wait a minute, appears. No, tell me what they did. That's what Chocolate wanted to know. He wants to know exactly what they did. It doesn't matter what it appears to do or that kind of stuff. Give us some.
But it doesn't.
Give us some stuff.
I'm just sorry to interrupt, Ali. I'm really sorry. It doesn't. It doesn't always appear to be above the clouds. So I've just literally spent 15 minutes ripping you a new asshole on this with it on screen and me showing quite literally that it does not appear that way. So why do you keep it? Is it literally that I'm falling on deaf ears? You don't like it, but you just want to assert it.
Looking up at the building, I agree at that point. I see the point you're trying
to drag him back.
I see the point you're trying to make about the building, and I agree that if you walk away from it, that it would appear you can still see it. And they're consistent, Nathan, and I don't rebuttal them. But I'm not then going to just ignore what I see with my own eyes. That the sun is always above the clouds, and as it goes further and further away, we know that where that sun is. It's not below the clouds. We know it's not.
Tommy, when have you ever seen? When have you ever seen the sun go behind the curve with your own eyes?
Every time the sun sets.
It's just your fundy belief.
You see it actually go behind a curve. You see the curve, and you see it disappear behind it.
When the sun sets, right? When the sun sets, the light creates an angle and puts shadows on the bottom of clouds. So that shows you that the sun's light is reaching out and illuminating the clouds from underneath because it is creating an angle as it sets. Now it also casts shadows onto the clouds, which is an obvious thing. It's so blatant to see that could only be that the shape of the Earth cannot be flat. It's a debunking of a flat plane.
That can be due to reflection.
So what you're saying is at some point the light is literally coming from beneath my feet. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
When we've never experienced any type of, I've never seen any stars or sun or anything beneath my feet. The only thing I've ever seen under my feet is the ground. So at what point does the light from the sun come from beneath the ground and hit and light up the clouds underneath?
Okay, look, if you just type in Mount Rainier, shadows from the shadows on Mount Rainier when the sun sets, here's a Google link to it. There is millions of pictures of Mount Rainier's shadow being casted onto the underside of clouds, which is a direct debunking of the flat Earth. So this isn't really a globe proof. It's one of the footstones that lead us to a globe, but it is definitely a flat Earth debunking. The Earth
No, it's
cannot.
not.
I don't see how
The sun,
the sun
relationship.
wait a minute. The
That's a
sun
cause and effect
reflected off the
relationship.
water.
So
The sun reflected off the
that's a
water.
cause and
created the
effect
shadow.
relationship.
How come it
That's
only
a
Prove me
happens?
cause
wrong.
and effect relationship. We have a method that adjudicates cause and effect relationships, Tommy. So you have to confirm and validate the cause of that.
No.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen at any other time than when it sets.
No, you're just making
It
an
doesn't happen
observation
any
and
time
giving
of
us a
day or any time of night. It only
So
happens when the
cause
sun
and
sets.
effect relationship, Tommy.
So
You have to confirm or validate what is the cause of your effect.
what is the cause of my effect?
Yep.
Do you understand what he said to you, Tommy? Tommy, do you understand the point he's just made to you?
I don't fully understand what you're saying now.
Okay, I'll try and reiterate it. What he's saying is you're describing a phenomena, right? Those clouds being lit from underneath. Would you adequately describe that as a phenomenon?
Yeah.
Well, as John's just pointed out, there is a method for adjudicating the cause of an effect.
Don't mean anything to me.
Oh, really?
No, it doesn't. All I know is that contradicts the flat Earth. That's what I do know.
Keep on repeating the same thing. You haven't validated or confirmed anything. You've just made an observation and gave us your just so story, like a fundy believer. We want confirmation, validation of the cause of that effect. Give it to us,
if it makes you happy, I'm a fundy believer. Okay.
Or recant your claim.
If that's what it makes you happy, I'm a fundy believer.
Well, Tommy, it's like everybody else understood what John was saying there apart from you.
Yeah, I don't understand it, and I'll be honest with you.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. So that's the whole point. If you don't understand, therefore, how can you criticize something you don't understand?
Exactly, Tommy. Why? Listen, Tommy. Why wouldn't you want to listen? Why wouldn't you want to understand his?
Criticizing. Just said I don't understand what you're saying.
Tommy, can I speak to you?
Yeah,
why wouldn't you want? The man told you something. Why, if you're in the middle of a discussion, why wouldn't you want to understand the points that he's bringing to you?
But I don't think it's in.
So then, if you wait. So if you try to understand and you don't understand, why don't you say, "Hey, I don't understand what you said. Can you please explain it to me?" Because I'm sure John will be very happy to do so.
I did say that, and Nathan tried to explain it, and I still didn't understand it. So then
maybe you should go away and do some research and try to understand it.
The point is, Tommy, the point is, right? It was explained. Wait a minute, Tommy, it was explained to you, right? You didn't understand it, and then you negated it.
Whatever.
Right?
Yeah, well, let me try again.
No, that's what you did do.
Let me try one more time.
You totally disregarded because you couldn't understand it.
Right?
I'll
try and rephrase it for Tommy.
Disregarded it.
Whatever.
Let me try one more time for you, Tommy.
This is deep shit. I don't think you belong here. We talk about deep stuff. We have deep understandings about stuff. You know?
Deep understanding. Oh my God, you're so
amazing. Tommy, can I have your attention?
And it's nothing to do with kumbaya stuff like that, which will really disappoint you because you can't attack us.
Hey, Ali, let Nathan explain it to him again, please.
What you've got is a phenomena, Tommy, something that you've observed happening, right? And there's a method to find empirically the cause of that effect. Now, I think what Ali's trying to say is, wouldn't you be interested in a follow-up question like, what might that method be? The reason we're telling you this is because what you've actually done is observed something and then just declared the cause. And we're saying, rather than just declaring a cause based on something you can see, there's a method that can give you a answer that is empirical as opposed to just so.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a good explanation. I understand where you're coming from now. Because basically what I'm kind of doing is jumping to a conclusion in your eyes. from that observation, and rather than taking it further and looking further into it. And I do think that sometimes you look further into things that you do come out with better, alternative explanations, and I do see that as a valid point that you're making, and I can address it now. I understand it. But when I didn't understand it, I will say to you, I don't understand, and then you'd want to jump down my neck.
Hold on, is that the real Ruhif?
Sorry? Yeah, it's Ruhif, I think.
Please speak up, Ruhif, and unmute. Hello?
Thanks, Nathan. That was exactly. I was very short and succinct. I've never been known to keep things short, so thanks. Yeah, exactly what I meant there, and John, what John said as well. So. I
agree with that Nathan's now I get what you're saying, but it's kind of a jump into a conclusion what you're saying. But with me, I kind of get the gist of something, and I don't really need to go completely anal through every single detail. Things make sense to me. They come to me.
But we're talking about science, Tommy. This is exactly where we have to go into detail. This is exactly the point where we have to go into detail when we're discussing things like this.
If your standards are a lot higher than mine, then go for it, man. You'll be there forever. But I'm quite happy to put all the pieces together and to draw my conclusion from the loads of bits of evidence that I've got. And
I'm happy that you're happy, but I need proof. I'm not happy to just accept what I'm told and just believe it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm saying there's many things that can lead to suggestion of the shape of the Earth, and it's not just one thing. This is one of the steps that leads me to believing that it's very hard for me to imagine the Earth being flat when I see these phenomenons. And then
imagination can take you in all kinds of directions.
It's very hard for you to imagine the Earth being flat when you yourself have said plenty of times in this hangout, you see the Earth is flat.
It looks flat, yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's just funny to me.
No, it does. It does, but that's not.
You have to completely take away what you feel and what you observe, and throw in math.
Chocolates.
That's what you do.
If you was a grain of salt on a hot air balloon, would you expect to see curvature?
If I was a grain of salt, I probably wouldn't be expecting to see anything.
What are you expecting to see on the Earth?
Say that again.
So if you're not expected to see curvature as a grain of salt on a hot air balloon, why do you expect to see curvature on the Earth?
You don't know what perspective is like.
Sorry, can I just answer that?
Ridiculous.
Sorry, can I just answer that? Because you would see curvature.
Because you would?
Yes.
As a grain of salt on a hot air balloon?
No, as a human being on Earth, if it was a sphere.
But in scale to how big it is and how small you are, that's why I say the grain of salt on a hot air balloon, because the hot air balloon compared to this grain of salt is a very big difference.
I heard your comparison. Now listen to my reply. As a human being on a sphere with a circumference 24,901 miles, I would absolutely expect to see curvature. Did you hear me?
With your own eyes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that your expectations of being able to see it with your own eyes is probably the reason that you're wrong.
Oh, really, Tommy? Bear with me, Tommy. Why, in that case, would the Metabunk begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator tell us that we can calculate the amount of curvature we should see?
You're finished.
It's not a gotcha. You guys are quick to laugh. The point being is,
first of all, did you understand the question?
Make no doubt about it, sir. It's a gotcha. You're in a gotcha right now.
Not a
just
gotcha.
To let you know.
It's not. You guys can sit there and just laugh about it. But I really am quite getting tired of this conversation. And if you want to look at it as an observation or whatever, but the point being is, you're a grain of salt on a hot air balloon. You wouldn't expect to see curvature.
What?
But
you have no idea what perspective is like to a grain of salt.
Tommy,
no
did
concept.
you understand
I'm trying to
Nathan's
give you
question?
a sense of scale.
Why are you using analogies when
I'm trying to give you a sense of scale? You're failing on that. I'm failing
You're
on that.
Tommy,
Nathan,
can I say something to you, Tommy?
Nathan was making a point. We're not a grain of salt. We're as humans. You understand? So you can say or if we're a grain of salt, well, sorry, we're not we're not a grain of salt. We're, as humans, would we expect to see? And Nathan says, of course we would. And of course we would. And that's the point. We're not grains of salt.
And remember,
we're
Tommy,
not ants.
they've also
We're not
given you a
ants on a
calculator.
ball. We're not ants on a ball. We're not ants on a ball. We're not anything other than human beings that have been told that we're on this spherical object.
The Earth is very large.
And then Tommy, your question was, why would we expect to see curvature, right, as humans? But we've been given a calculator to be able to calculate this very curvature. So why would we be able to calculate curvature if we're not able to see it?
That's the gotcha. That's the gotcha, Tommy. You're gotcha.
Are you going to respond or not? The way I see the Earth is that you are very small and the Earth is very big. And if you think you're going to see curvature as the small,
well, that's just a story.
So then why do we have a calculator for it?
Because we can
in a gotcha.
How objects disappear over long distances. We can use the calculator for them reasons. We can demonstrate curvature, but you're not expected to see of how small you are.
What the hell do you calculate?
Given a calculator to demonstrate the curvature that we can't see.
After 200 kilometers, that
Sorry,
kind of.
I don't know. Just say that again, Chocolate.
I said, so we've been given a calculator to calculate curvature that we can't see. That's what you're saying?
That's precisely correct. As Tommy pointed out at the beginning of the show, the Earth presents itself as flat. That's how we see it, or as I put it, obviously and observably flat. However, we've got a calculator to calculate curvature that we don't observe, we never experience, and we cannot see. Don't you think that's unusual, Tommy?
Well, you use the calculator to determine how much of a boat or how much of a mountain or how much of a building is going to disappear as over large distances, and that's what that calculator
due to what? Due to what?
Due to curvature.
Tommy,
absolutely epic.
Can I say something?
How predictable! How predictable! Oh wow!
Hey Tommy, let me say something. If you look at the curve calculator, at 3 miles there should be 6 feet of drop.
Do you see how you guys are stuck in a circle? Do you see how you guys are stuck?
No, I know. It's because this is the point.
You guys provoke certain.
Why are you immediately red herring this?
Because you guys provoke certain responses, and when you get the responses that you're trying to provoke, then you go, oh yeah, we're reassuring ourselves, right? You're in a situation right now, right, where you steer conversations into a direction and then act like.
Right, I'll respond, Tommy. I'll respond to that. I would say, why would you want to know how far something disappears in the distance? Why would you want to know that? What good would it do?
Sounds like perspective. How much something disappears into the distance. Just
yeah,
saying.
But why would you want to, Nathan? The point I'm making is, why would you want to only over a certain distance, like building or whatever, or a road? But you don't build a road looking down a theodolite that looks 3 miles ahead. There's a set distance. So I was asking Tommy, why would you want to know how far a mountain 100 miles away would curve away? Just going back to what Chocolate said about why would there be an equation for something that you can never see? And he said, oh, blah, blah, because you would want to see how far. Well, I'm saying, why would you want to? Obviously, it's nothing to do with flying or anything.
Some people really want to go through these vigorous, high standards. And, it's there.
What do you mean high standards? These are normal. Look, dude, what you.
See, this is the thing.
This is the thing. This is the thing. What you don't understand.
It's been a very good session for the last.
This is the thing. Is what you don't understand.
Come on, drop it. He's tired.
On my own, I've been
Thomas,
typing the whole panel for 3 hours.
Thomas, I can't allow you. I can't allow you to go on. Right, the point is, right.
You've got high standards. You want to go for all the fucking.
Right, you're saying high standards. What do you mean high? Excuse me.
To the whole room on my own. It's too much. I've had enough of going in circles. I've done 3 hours of this stuff. I've literally had back-to-back constant things that you guys are throwing at me, and I've literally give you an answer for everything. Some things have been a bit grey. Some things have been a bit very.
Just shut up. Don't make more conclusions.
Exactly. Now you're
go away. If you want to go away, go away. Go.
Thank you
Arwen, he's a soy boy. Arwen, he's a soy boy. He's bitching about
want to go that
3
far.
hours. We've done sessions 5 hours.
Come on, stop pushing, man.
He's gone
Yeah,
now, by the way.
he's
gone.
moaning because he's tired out. Because every time we draw him to what he says is, I can't remember the way he phrased it, but basically we draw him to the logical inconsistency or contradiction. And at that point, he'll just reassert the thing from 2 seconds ago or 2 minutes ago. In the most recent example, we get to the point where we're like, well, why would you say that we can't see a curve if we're a grain of rice on a hot air balloon when we've got something that can measure it? And he's like, you're taking me around in circles. It's like, no, this is the inconsistency. This is the contradiction. But at that point, it's where his brain goes, I've had enough of this. I'm doing it for 3 hours. Well, I don't know about the rest of the panel. I'm not feeling knackered because I'm not fighting cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I could go for hours talking about it and not get. But you're right.
That's why I come on, because I wanted to hear more of Allie and Tommy. I mean, I just couldn't keep myself from it. I wanted the continuation of the discussion.
Yeah, I must admit that was brilliant, Ali. It was great. That's why I kept my mouth shut.
No, I'm talking about during the previous show. I mean, it was so enthralling. I couldn't, I was losing the will to live.
I thought it was very entertaining. It wasn't very on track, but yeah, nonetheless.
No, it's all good. But that's what I'm saying about these. I was trying to point out to. No, I wasn't. Do you know? It's like we're not really doing this to convince the person that we're having the discussion. We're really in the end up. We're pointing out the flaws in the argument, or even flaws in our own arguments, or if there is any, which there isn't really, because we've done our kind of research into philosophy or scientific method. You know, we've looked at that. We've found this is it. This is what they say. This is what philosophy has told us since the Greeks or Aristotle, whatever, decided or said, right, this is the way that if we want to really decide or decipher what's happening in the real world around us, these are the rules that we have to follow. But we also have to explain why we used the experiment that we used. You know, why we do you know, we can say, all right, I observed this, right, okay, I've got a thing for this, right, I'm going to design an experiment. But you've also got to explain why that experiment that you've designed is the right experiment to find out. So you've got to, like, it's like you know what I mean, it's really intricate. And I think what's happened is that intricacy, or that explaining why this specific experiment has been designed, and it's going to prove that. You know, that's part of the scientific method, is you've got to prove that the experiment that you're doing is conducive to what you're trying to prove. And that's it. And most experiments are not. And it's like what you said, Nathan, when you had that discussion about the fog, or whatever you call it, that thing, right? That was exactly right what you were saying. That was not that's not a experiment. That's not going to prove absolutely nothing. And science doesn't prove anything.
Oh, stop right there.
Oops. John's got me.
They prove cause and effect relationships. That's what the scientific method does. You went a little bit too far there.
Yeah, they're trying to send science into philosophy. Yes, its roots are in philosophy, but when they say science doesn't prove anything, they'll say, well, you don't know that you're not a brain in a jar. That's Rumpus's line. It's like, horseshit. You've got a hypothesis-driven experiment, then you've either validated, proven, or invalidated, disproven your scientific prediction. I.e., you have proven the cause of the effect. So it absolutely proves things.
So why do they say it doesn't prove? But in the next breath, they say the whole body of science proves it. Why did they contradict themselves within the very same breath? I'm going to tell you why. Because they're wiki parroting pretender clowns. They can't have the scientific method prove things, right? Because They can't have it. Why? Why can't they have scientific proof? Why is science always self-correcting? Why, using these reification fallacies? Why are they doing that? Well, it gives them, that greases the skids so they can change their just so stories every now and again. That's why the sun is 2 million miles away. No, it's 8 million miles away. No, it's 20 million miles away. No, it's 58 million miles away. You see?
And now the moon is in our atmosphere.
Exactly.
Shit like that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly,
They
John.
use it to grease the skids. It's a joke. It's second grade linguistic tricksies. That's all it is. We have pseudoscience priests telling us the nature of our reality, right? That's all we got. It's all horse shit, and we're exposing that. Period. They're finished.
And with that, I think I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the audience in the Nathan Oakley channel for tuning into this premiering stream, hopefully sharing, smashing the super chat, all that good stuff. If you need something to keep you occupied after this premiering stream has ended, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!